to a Tabletop Junkie's portfolio. World on Fire, Vampire Lore, History of Vampires from Past to Present, both in theory and confirmed. In the book of Genesis, it talks about how Eve disobeyed God and shared the apple of knowledge of good and evil with Adam due to a serpent telling her to. What it doesn't share is the true fate of Adam and Eve. Once Adam and Eve were kicked out of the Garden of Eden, they bare two sons, Cain and Abel. Cain, being good at gardening, decided to give God an offering as he requested from them, and the offering was vegetables and fruit from his garden. Abel tended to livestock and sheep, and therefore sacrificed a lamb before God. God was satisfied with Abel's sacrifice, but not Cain's offering. Cain, being jealous of his brother, murdered his brother and spilt his blood on his garden. The king then Cain took it upon himself to give God another offering. Cain consumed the blood of his brother Abel and took it before God, but as he did, Cain lost all humanity and was turned into an unholy husk with no humanity left to speak of. Cain became what you would call a Nosferatu, the first vampire in history. Adam and Eve both discovered their son Abel's body lifeless in the garden of Cain, and discovered at night Cain became an unholy thing. God came before Adam and Eve and informed them on the fate of Cain, and instructed them to hunt down the unholy thing that was once their son. God explained that both Abel and Cain are now dead. Cain murdered Abel and then killed himself. Eve was the first to partake in the apple of knowledge of good and evil, but also received additional knowledge that helps her and Adam to hunt down their supposed son. Eve came to use God's miracles or magic and became the first mage to help track down Cain throughout the ages for nearly 1,000 years. As civilization grew and the world was populated by more children of Adam and Eve, they never stopped hunting down their son. As Adam and Eve were hunting for nearly, once again, 1,000 years, the massive carnage Cain left in his wake made it easy for them to track him. However, they kept falling short as it took nearly 1,000 years before they managed to catch up with him. Adam became very diverse in slaying of the Nosferatu. It is said that Adam and Eve did manage to catch up with Cain and faced him in combat. However, the outcome of the battle remains unknown, even among the forbidden text and scrolls that was never mentioned. Evidence did confirm Adam and Eve did eventually die off, but not as the book of Genesis foretold. Adam died 1,000 years after his creation and hunting down his son Cain. After the Battle of Cain, both Adam and Eve spent their remaining days hunting down the offspring of the Nosferatu. Adam's work went uncompleted while Eve disappeared from history. In all that time, in the year 1476 AD, the lad the Impaler was faced during a long trial of battles that he successfully led against his enemies. The lad made a calculated error in battle, and that left an opening for his remaining enemies to invade his kingdom. The lad sought the counsel of his advisors and foretold of a creature that lived in the mountains of his land. Let, lad sought to see if the creature truly did exist in the mountains and traveled there to find a cave with six of his best men. As they walked in with the best soldiers and well armed, they immediately took a small inhale of breath, and they were all dead with blood splattered everywhere. Vlad met the creature and had a conversation about receiving assistance regarding against destroying his enemies. Bringing on the death of Vlad the Impaler, Dracula was born. Dracula was the firstborn night child, a form of vampire that is a mere shadow of Nosferatu, but Vlad's humanity remained. Dracula laid waste to his enemies battle after battle. After all the enemies were defeated, Dracula ruled over the land for many centuries until one day he disappeared. Dracula's disappearance remains a mystery. The only fact remains is his castle was plundered of all goods. Some say a man named Van Helsing attacked and defeated Dracula. Some say Van Helsing attacked and captured Dracula. No confirmed evidence. There was another vampire recorded in history named Count Morlock. Warlock was recorded to be a vampire of hideous features and is known as the Bird of Death. It is extrapolated that Morlock was confirmed Nosferatu that terrorized the Carpathian Mountains in Germany in the early 1800s. Before Count Morlock was a Nosferatu, he was a noble count by the name of Ulrich Haas, a famous and rich count in the late 1700s before being turned. Count Morlock was said to receive his name from Belial, the ruler of Hell, or one of the many rulers, but nothing is confirmed. In the mid 1800s, Count Morlock disappeared and his estate was plundered. The plundering of his noble estate is the only fact of evidence that we have in history, not any remains of his death. Many rumors and stories have been created and theorized what had happened to the Count, but nothing, once again, was confirmed. From the mid 1800s to the present, vampires are known as, well, vampires, as they are known today, such as the traditional creatures of the night with weaknesses against sunlight, holy items, and more. Nothing much more special than the generic night creatures. Nosferatu and the Nightchild types are said to be extinct or not seen since the mid 1800s, but records are scarce on that information. Vampires were blood-sucking children of the night and were hunted for many years as they fed on humans, made more vampires to increase their numbers until 2012. In 2012, they were the first to reveal themselves as supernatural creatures living among humans and now work in politics and work with laws to maintain and control the vampire nation population from hunting and feeding on humans unlawfully, including making more against the will of the victim as well. Nosferatu are a deformed, unholy being, and the mere sight of them can make anyone go crazy. This is said to be a deformity as a sign of complete humanity loss, all in one go. A night child is similar to a normal vampire, but with the ability to change into an alternate bat form that enhances their physical abilities. And a vampire is just a normal vampire, generic vampire that everyone knows from legend and can be very seductive if they choose to be. The Nosferatu haven't been seen since before the mid 1800s with Count Morlock. Other than that, if any lived, they would be considered a living fossil among the vampire leaders. Nightchild has been seen a little bit more than Nosferatu. If any do exist, they are considered a rarity to notice. They are near extinction, but would not be considered a living fossil, more endangered form of vampire. And vampires are commonly living among humans in today. Is that the end for now? The history of vampires has secrets and will continue to be growing, as more will be uncovered by famous scholars. That is my lore video for today. Thank you for everyone who has tuned in, and I appreciate anyone who has came out to support my lore video. My next lore video will be as soon as am able to get the information together, and hopefully will be as soon as possible. The next one that we will be covering will be werewolves. Have a great and wonderful day, everybody.